Greetings, Mega Man fans, and welcome back to the Mega Man Super Fighting Robot LPA. In this episode, we'll be taking on the 5th stage of Skull Castle, which, if I'm remembering the map right, is potentially the final stage. Yeah, looks like it's the final stage. At the very least, we'll be fighting Proto Man at the end of this. But before that, we still have a little bit more we need to do. Namely, we have to plow through a couple of Susies, gathering a bunch of weapon energy that we won't be using, and one more new enemy type. That's Brakeman. Like, literally. Seems Proto Man is not content just waiting for us at the end of the boss room. No, he insists on fighting us himself. That being said, he's a lot less dangerous than any of the Sniper Joes in the game, which feels kind of amusing to me. You'd think Proto Man, aka Brakeman, being like the prototype of the Sniper Joes would probably be a little more, and well, the prototypes and a super fighting robot in their own right, you'd think he'd be a little stronger than them, but nope. Anyway, if I want that E-Tank, I'll actually need to use Rush Jet for it, or like Trash Attack, but I don't really care to get the E-Tank, so whatever. And with that, we have the Robot Master Rematch Chamber, of course, so you know what that means. It's time for a weapons evaluation. So, first things first, we have, well, weapons evaluation and weakness information. First of all, Leaf Man, who is weak to the Giant Axe, which I suppose doesn't surprise me too much. After all, if Leaf Man's like a tree leaf, like tree leaves, then I'm sure he wouldn't much like his tree getting chopped down. Lumberjacks, you know? Anyway, the Giant Axe is a pretty solid weapon. It doesn't have a ton of ammo, but for what it needs to do, as a piercing weapon, it works more than adequately. I certainly cannot complain about this, and it's not like I can't fix the ammo issue, considering Energy Balancer, Energy Saver. It's definitely possible to deal with any ammo issues these weapons may have. Otherwise, it's a large projectile that pierces shields. And its aiming it is simple enough. You just try to remember you can press up and down to actually aim it. It's definitely not a bad weapon in any sense of the word. Okay, Zapman. Unsurprisingly for some, he's weak to the Leaf Boomerang. Assuming I can actually successfully hit him with it. It's really not much of a surprise, considering Battle Network science. I'm guessing it's a case of just the leaves don't conduct electricity at all. Anyway, Leaf Boomerang has a fair amount of range to it. Oh, being about, what? Yeah, a little over half a screen. And it also has plenty of ammo. It also gets itself stuck in enemies, which means it can do a ton of damage for being a freaking leaf. And it can grab items for you. I don't think I need to tell you that Leaf Boomerang is actually, legit, one of the single strongest weapons in the game. Like, seriously, if you're going to use any weapon other than the Buster, it's probably this one. Particularly since, if you do catch it, you recover some of your weapon energy, so you're not going to run out anytime soon. Use this thing with the Energy Saver? Whoo, boy! That's... You'll never run out of it. You may as well place the Buster at that point. Anyway, with that... Aha! Wizard Man! Wizard Man's weakness is the trash attack, which I suppose makes sense to me. I mean, he's a squishy wizard. I doubt he'd handle an explosive very well. It's also very capable of hitting him regardless of which side of the room he's on. That being said, you only barely have enough uses of it to actually kill him with it. Trash Attack is basically what Power Stone should have been in a lot of ways. It may not have that much ammo, but in exchange, it covers a ridiculous amount of range, and you can actually use it to give you a little double jump. As such, Trash Attack can end up actually being rather useful for speedrunning tactics, because not only does it let you hit multiple enemies at once, and it deals multiple hits to enemies it does hit, not unlike Leaf Boomerang, but with the double jump, you can also use it to get past some sections that normally would be a little harder to do. I definitely can't complain about this one. Anyway. I know who this one's gonna be. Hello, Soakman. Your weakness, unsurprisingly, is the Zap Barrier. I can't say I'm terribly surprised that the electric robot is weak. Well, the electric robot. The water robot is weak to the electric weapon. I mean, water and lightning don't usually mix. The Zap Barrier itself, there's no other way to put it. It is basically on-demand invincibility. For bonus points, it actually speeds you up a little while it's active. So, on-demand invincibility, bit of a speed up, and it also deals damage. Can't be the only one reminded a little of Rockman 4 minus Infinity right now. But that being said, though, the fact remains, Zap Barrier is a really strong weapon, and great for, among other things, speedrunning. It has it has a fair amount of power behind it, and again, it's kind of, on-demand Mercy Invincibility. It can be used for getting out of a lot of tough scrapes, which is good. A shield weapon should be usable for that sort of thing. Alright. Aha! Small room. Yep, Trash Man. Trash Man's weakness is the Coal Barrage. If you're wondering why it wasn't Leaf Man, this is why. Unsurprisingly, it's kind of unsurprising too, after all. Trash Incineration. That being said, you only barely have enough ammo to it to actually kill him with it. Coal Barrage, if you aim it right, is a really good weapon because it has a ton of range to it and quite a lot of power. If you want to kill a mini-boss quick, Coal Barrage is the weapon to use. Pretty much any and every mid-boss in the game is absolutely slaughtered by it. This also means that the sooner you can kill Coalman, the better if you're the speedrunning type. There's a lot of the weapons in this game are useful for making things go by faster. That's good. It's kind of the point. At least it makes things easier. Okay, this one is Axeman. Axeman's weakness is the Flash Dagger, which makes sense. Daggers are faster and lighter than axes are, so he probably would have a bit of a difficult time dealing with them. I mean, I imagine there's a reason why in Fire Emblem, swords beat axes. The Flash Dagger itself is a bit of an odd weapon. The Mercy Invincibility it grants you is interesting, and it itself has a neat little function in the way you can just plant the daggers, wait for the opportune moment, and then zoom. That being said, it's probably my least favorite weapon in the game, for reasons that honestly don't have much to do with the Flash Dagger itself, but rather just the simple fact that Leaf Boomerang outclasses it in sheer damage output, as well as a forward-firing projectile. Zap Barrier outclasses it in terms of on-demand invincibility, and I don't recall there being that many situations where I'd want the Flash Dagger's ability to wait and fire. I'm good enough with timing things that I never really find that all that useful. Really. It's a good weapon, don't get me wrong, but it is undoubtedly outclassed compared to a lot of the other weapons in the game. Okay, I only got like 2 left. I'm betting I'm gonna, just as a random guess. Oh, no, I'm wrong. It's Daggerman next. Okay. Daggerman's weakness is the magic missile, which I suppose is no real surprise. Magic and technology don't tend to mix terribly well. And his fighting style itself definitely, works well for fighting him with Magic Missile. Magic Missile is a homing weapon that chains itself to enemies and works as a homing weapon. Its aim is definitely pretty good. So, I can't really complain, and it definitely has, it has a fair amount of ammo. Like, what, 14 uses? That's not bad. And of course, the fact that you can aim it is much appreciated, even if I honestly never really use that ability. It's definitely a good weapon. I'm not gonna I can't complain about Magic Missile at all. Anyway. Now we're dealing with Coleman, whose weakness, unsurprisingly, is the Soak Rain. Not terribly surprising, considering he is a fire robot. That being said, though, if your aim is off with Soak Rain, expect to pay for it. Because, trust me, it can take a long time before he is, you know, vulnerable again. Which, that can make fighting him with the Soak Rain a bit tricky. By no means is it impossible, but it can be a bit tricky. Soak Rain's only real weakness, in my opinion, is that if you miss with it, you're going to pay for it because its refire rate is essentially non-existent. That being said, it has a lot of coverage to it. And its power is definitely there. So, it may not be quite as strong as some of the other weapons, but it is definitely no slouch. And it also has the ability to put out fires, so bring it for Coleman stage, if nothing else. Anyway, that's all the Robot Masters and all the weaknesses. But there's one more weapon I do want to cover. Beat. Beat is pretty freaking powerful. Good thing, considering he's supposed to be the bonus weapon. The shield-piercing lasers that he fires at enemies definitely do their job very well in terms of actually killing enemies. So if you can actually be bothered to get Beat, and particularly if you can learn how to aim him like I'm doing right now, and apparently if you can and if you're wondering how I managed to get him to zoom higher up like that, it's like pressing up and then pressing down like seconds before he reaches his regular position. I only just figured out how to do that now. It's kind of fun making Beat bob up and down like that. But anyway, Beat's a fairly powerful weapon, so definitely a very good one to have around. And with that, that's the stage. Short one, but then again, what do you expect from a traditional Robot Master rematch? So in that case, what can I say about the weapons themselves? Overall, this is a fairly strong weapon set. Leaf Boomerang, Zap Barrier, like, a lot of the weapons in the game are pretty good. That being said, there's 2 outliers in the weapon set that kind of bother me a little. One is Leaf Boomerang. As I previously mentioned, Leaf Boomerang is powerful. Like, incredibly so. It has a lot more power to it than you would expect you know, a leaf to have. To the point that if you actually do have it, you basically don't have a lot of you basically have very little reason to use a number of the other weapons in the game, simply because its power output and ammo output just outclasses so many of them. That's a little disappointing, in my opinion. The other one that kind of bothers me a little is Flash Dagger, for reasons I already established. But outside of using it against Axeman and Splashmo Prime, I don't find Flash Dagger is that useful. Like, anything it does, I found Leaf Boomerang and Zap Barrier are just as capable of pulling off the same thing, and just at a better rate. I don't find it all that useful. Quite the contrary. If I end up in a situation where I want to use Flash Dagger, I'll just use Leaf Boomerang. And if I need invincibility, why would I use Flash Dagger when I can use Zap Barrier, which speeds me up and gives me like, you know, damage alongside my invincibility? So, in that case, while the weapon set is definitely good against, say, like, Rock Force, just as an example, I'd have to say Rock Force's weapon set would be the better one. But if I can remember how to English, the weapon set in this game, in and of itself, is not inherently bad. It just has a couple of outliers in there that impede weapon balance a little. And with that, we have a boss fight. Alright, Proto Man. The jig is up. Let's go. Proto Man! It's not too late, brother. Join me. This world should be ours. You're kidding, right? I don't know what happened, but you can't do this. ... Please, I don't want to fight you. If you side with the humans, it seems we have no choice. Let's go! Don't hold back, Rock! Before we begin this fight, I just want to comment on one thing. Proto Man has two shields right now. One on his back, and he's holding one. I have a feeling that's a bit of a minor misstep? Anyway. Oh dear. Fight time! Proto Man is a bit of a tricky boss fight. He is entirely pattern-based, but his pattern, compared to others, is far more long and involved. He has a charge shot, a slide, the two jumping shots, the latter of which will be diagonal, and then he has a sliding jump in a similar vein to Zapman, followed by, okay. And then he has the 5 shots in a row, and then he has the Big Bang Strike from Mega Man and Bass, essentially. And I am screwing up because I'm so busy trying to explain how he fights. But yeah, he has a very long, drawn out pattern with multiple abilities. After the Big Bang Strike, he has the set of 2 jumping shots, each one in sets of 3, and then he repeats his pattern. It's one of the longest, most drawn-out patterns in the game, but it is still learnable, and he's still doable. That being said, 1, his shield manages to get right in the way, and 2, he is immune to all Robot Master weapons. Only the Buster and Beat will suffice for damaging him. So, do be wary of that fact. Also, is it just me? Or is the music playing right now a remix of the... Ow. of the Mega Man 5 title theme. Because if it is, that's actually pretty cool. Like, oh, for crying out loud, I keep forgetting he bounces off the wall. Yeah, it actually does sound like the Mega Man 5 title theme here. I needed to jump there. Oh my word, I'm screwing up so badly. I'm definitely capable of handling this guy, but I appear to be not showing it very well. Oh, for crying out loud. Stop screwing up. Okay, I've basically run out of things to say about Proto Man at this point, so I'm gonna go a little quiet so I can finish this fight off. Haha! Gotcha! Wait a minute. Only 27 hit points? Really? Huh. Little less health than the average boss fight. Not by much, but... oh well. Still a fun fight. I really enjoy the Proto Man fight. It's tricky, but doable. I can't complain about this. I'd actually almost think it was the final battle. Not to mention the music is pretty awesome. I rather enjoy just listening to it on my own time. Anyway. Damn! I can't lose here. Whoa. Was that a swear? Normally I don't swear, like that's just a thing with me. But this is in context, so I'm gonna read it. Unless it's like a cluster swear bomb or something. I'm not reading one of those. I failed you, Wily. Well, there it is. There it is. Who's surprised? Who's surprised? ... Where am I? What did I do? Ah, so Wily must have built something onto him that made him go crazy or something? I don't know. It's alright. It wasn't your fault. Dr. Wily must have been controlling you. And here's Wily himself. Well, looks like we can put an end to this charade. Finally. You! Proto Man, you have 2 shields again! Looks like my pet has finally broken free. It was fun while it lasted, though. Wily, as usual, with his evil gloating. Proto Man, head back to the lab. I'll finish this. With your measly 4 health? Well, with my measly 4 health. Wily, if I weren't so damaged, I'd finish you myself. Ooh, I'm so scared. Wahahaha! Okay, I can't complain about Snark. Can't complain about Snark at all. As for you, Mega Man, I'll deal with you myself. Because of course you will. Wily, you never learn, do you? Why would he? If he learned, we wouldn't have a game. Anyway, with that, that's the end of this episode, really. Not much to say about the stage, and I've already said what needs to be said about the boss fight. So, for the next episode, we'll be dealing with the final stage, as well as the battle against Wily himself. But until then, goodbye!